Yeah, just so you can communicate with it.
Oh, okay.
All right, I believe we have. Yeah, all right. I believe we have just started. It is September 9th, 2014. I'm Bob the Axeman Hildebrand. We've got two members of Disposable Heroes here. If I don't miss my guess, this is Eric, and this is Nate, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
God bless America. All right, so for today's live show, obviously we're going to do a little table of contents here for you. We have new promos coming up, then we have our topic discussion, which is how to prepare and get into Milsim, which is military simulation airsoft games, and which is part of the reason why we brought out Disposable Heroes for today, because they've been to a variety of those events as well as myself. Now, after that, we are going to get into a few new products, and the last 5 to 10 minutes is going to be Q&A and shout-out. So without further ado, why don't we go over our new promotions for the week of September 9th. So right now we have our sniper giveaway going on, which is really cool because whenever you buy anything on airsoftgi.com or gitactical.com, you'll get a code you can put into a secondary website, and you have a chance at winning a lot of different prizes, some of which are sniper-themed, hence the name Sniper Giveaway. So make sure to get those orders in and use that code every time. So if you feel like splitting up your orders to get more codes, you can totally do that. Don't tell them I said yet. Also, we have Burst Wizards available on over 300 AGs on our website. They go for $20 instead of $40 if you buy them with an AG. So take advantage of that for the extra reliability and longevity of your purchase, because it will protect your airsoft gun over the long term and add a lot of different functionality. Now, we do have an East Coast event coming up that I'm really happy with. It's Bob the Axeman's Rebel Training Camp East Coast. It's going to be held at X Zone, Virginia. On October 4th, we're going to have law enforcement and military personnel there to help increase your knowledge of the game. And this event is geared towards players younger than 18 or with less than a year of experience. But if you are more experienced or over the age of 18, you can still come on out, but come on out with a mindset of growing the sport of airsoft and just kind of growing the newer generation of players and making them comfortable to play, and also just to learn a little bit more and have a great day of gameplay with myself, the GI Tactical staff, and a few other folks from airsoftgi.com. Let's see, any other? Oh, yes, this is actually really big because we're starting up some much larger Facebook giveaways on Airsoft GI's Facebook. So if you aren't already liking our page on Facebook, you should get on over to that and do that immediately, because our Facebook giveaways are going to be going on, from what I know, every single week. And right now we're going to be giving away a G26 from G&G. Oh, excuse me, it's a G&G GR4 G26 blowback AEG. So if you want to have a chance of winning that gun, get on our Facebook page, like, comment, and share those posts, and take a look at all the rules for those Facebook giveaways. If you'd like to know more about the promotions that I just mentioned, we put a link in the description, and you can check it out on airsoftgitv.com, which is our blog. That said, all right, so as far as our main topic today, which is how to get into and prepare for Milsim games, firstly, I want to know, what is your guys' most memorable Milsim event that you've been to? It could be something recent. It could be the first one you went to. What do you think is your most memorable Milsim event?
Probably have to be one of the first Lion Claw events that we actually went to, because that's when we really got the team organized. We were all back from deployments and stuff, so we could actually get together and really operate as a team. So it was really a lot of fun for us, just being able to really do that, and mixing all the branches together, Marine Corps and Army and everything, seeing how everybody works for the first time all together. Really helped us out, get into it even further. Fun working with everybody else, definitely.
I mean, it is kind of nice, though, like when you get to go out and you get to play as a team with your friends. Like, I think it makes airsoft more fun than if you went out by yourself, but you get to, like, rock and roll with your buddies,
Oh, yeah, 100% agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing about that is, too, is we went to high school with each other, and we also joined the service together, and that's how things started with the team and everything like that. But overall, though, like, one of the most memorable places I played, first Lions Call 10. No one knew who we were. They're like, who are these guys? Like, what are they doing? And we're like learning the rules and regulations of airsoft compared to like what we learned with the military tactics we've been taught, and, like how to be cautious with other people and buildings and stuff like that. But I say Lion Claw 10 was like the birth point of DH, like actually being a force to play with and like know people.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Definitely, most of the games that we attended and played and organized, most of it, might have been 30 on 30, 20 on 20, a lot of small stuff and a lot of open terrain. Didn't do a lot of close quarters. So when we had that opportunity to actually work with, hundreds of people, and you had a lot of moving parts and everything, it definitely brought a lot together. So then you really, it was really hard to outflank, outmaneuver, without getting bogged down by another force that was already on your flank and so forth and so on. So definitely brought in a lot of different aspects. And, made it enjoyable.
I think that's for me like one of the first Milsim games I went to. That was the coolest part about it. Is like you don't just have like you said, like 30 on 30. Like you have platoon size engagements or even company size engagements.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the first one I went to, which was I believe Lion Claws. The first event I went to that had armor was Lion Claw 6, and we had armor on armor engagements, and I almost pissed myself with just nerdery. Like I was just sitting there, I was like, I don't even care if I shoot, I just want to watch this. So yeah, no, it's really cool to have that aspect of like not even a tactical command, but also a strategic command. And for those that are not familiar, there are a lot of different rules that go along with Milsim. Like, for example, one of the most popular ones is mid-capacity magazines.
Yes.
Like, you don't want everyone out there to have like a light machine gun by using a high-capacity magazine. And also you have the uniform requirements. Like if you're on like Alpha team at a John Lou event, you're going to be wearing tan or 3-color desert or something like that. So yeah, there are a lot of different rules that go into Milsim, and at least as far as like the preparing for Milsim aspect, one of the things that I would tell people if they're going to prepare to go to a Milsim game is you want to read the warrant order. There's a lot of information there, like rules, stuff you have to bring, when you have to be at a certain location that is really important to know. There are a few Milsim events I've gone to where I didn't fully read the warrant order, and I immediately regretted it. Like at the first Irene I went to, John Lou pointed out, I was like, yeah, so I noticed that you guys are wearing baseball caps, didn't read the warrant order because some of the explosions have rocks in them.
Yeah.
Because that's how the SEALs want to train. And we're like, yeah, we really didn't read the warrant order. So, and I actually, after the fact, I was like, oh, that's what was whizzing by. Wow.
Not BBs?
No, it was like larger chunks of, rock. Yeah, so,
man.
Yeah, that was a mistake on my part. But that said, like, what do you guys go through when you're preparing for a Milsim game?
It's kind of a tough one.
It's a lot of stuff.
I mean, we come from a military background, as you already know. So,
actually, sorry, before you get there, why don't you tell our viewers, like, what Disposable Heroes is about? Like, I know you guys have a lot of former and current military folks.
Well, Disposable Heroes kind of came about where we're all buddies and friends. We enjoyed Airsoft. We enjoyed military-type lifestyle. We joined the military right out of high school. And during our deployments, specifically one of mine, my second deployment, I had a buddy of mine, and he kind of identified some of the problems that we were having with how infantry specifically was being tasked out. And we kind of developed this idea that we were, kind of feeling like we were disposable, like we weren't really being appreciated by our command necessarily and tasked out properly. So he pretty much started calling his section, I guess you could say, Disposable Heroes. And so I kind of stole it from him with his permission.
Nice.
He knows about it.
That's good. That's good. You asked. Yeah.
He knows. I'll have to shout out to him. And our team just kind of rolled from there. I actually started doing some T-shirts and stuff for them. Started making DH logos and stuff like that, and started getting our message across. And the bases that we were at, we would talk to other guys, and they would really like the idea. So then they would want to get some T-shirts to support the idea. And when I got home, all my buddies, they really agreed with it. So we all just kind of rolled with it, and they wanted the name, and so that's what we adapted. And then Doom Sparrow is our motto, I guess you could say. It means basically, while I breathe, I hope. So it means no matter how crazy life can get, or how bogged down you are, or how badly you're getting ambushed, as long as you're breathing, man, you're still in the fight. You're still in the fight. You got to keep it going, America.
100% agree with that one. 100% agree.
Yeah, no, I really do like that motto you guys have, because I remember at a lot of the games we've had, like Assault on Antioch or the Rebel Training Camp Northern Resistance, we generally just send you to the heaviest combated area. Just like, oh man, we're having a problem there. Disposable Heroes, go screw them up. Just go take care of it. Oh, the buggy's here. Can you blow that up for us, please? Yeah. There's actually one time at Assault on Antioch, I was in a building. I was like, where the hell are Disposable Heroes? And as I said heroes, I saw one of your guys' hands put a C4 on the buggy. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. All right, so to get back to the topic at hand, preparing for a Milsim game, how do you guys go through it? And if you guys have different answers, feel free to chime in.
Usually how we approach the games is we find out, where the game's going to be located at, so we kind of get like a map. and we kind of see like what kind of terrain is going to be playing the factors, what we need to expect in the terrain is a big key, and then from there, we kind of like go out into open fields or somewhere we undisclosed locations, stuff like that, and we try to figure out how other people are going to play, who we played against, and then we go from that point. We try to use our military tactics that we learn in life that kind of apply to Airsoft to certain aspects, like staying with your buddy team rushes, stuff like that, and then certain aspects where like you can slide across the floor in certain areas and just try to like wing it for Airsoft and try to shoot them, but like in real life you wouldn't really do that at all.
You guys were mentioning outside that, like, in a lot of Airsoft you take risks that normally you wouldn't, in a real combat situation. And actually, I do remember one of those where I think it was Assault in Antioch, where one of you guys slid on your ass all the way out to one corner, the other one slid really short, and the other one slid to the middle, and you guys wrecked some fools. That was awesome. Look good on camera too.
Yeah,
so
definitely willing to take a lot more risks in Airsoft and have fun than you would obviously when you're getting real lead slung at you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But yeah, another, like he was saying, when you're preparing, like terrain is a huge thing. If you don't know your terrain, you don't know where you're fighting or what you're fighting in, you're pretty much fighting a losing battle. And like I said, Doom Sparrow really comes into play right there. And identifying choke points and how you can outflank or anything that will hold up the enemy movements and get your movements quicker than theirs, so you can get in there. All that stuff comes into factor, and we'll even come up with little like nicknames for areas. So you'll immediately know what you're referring to. So instead of looking at the map like, hey, we're going to G24 or something like that, we'll just say, hey, pinch point 2, or the gooseneck, or the Alamo, anything like that. So it's quick reference. So you hear that over the radio, you're like, okay, that's what's going on, and that's where I'm at.
Well, it sounds like you guys prepare, what's it called, a lot better than I normally do, because, in fact, you guys go into a deeper level than I would assume a lot of Milsim players do, because, usually it's all about, getting their kit ready, making sure they have their ticket purchased, making sure they have their flight out there, and lodging and transportation. But you guys, like, look at the tactical map, you guys decide, like, name the areas, decide how you're going to fight. And that's actually probably very useful, especially in a small squad organization as you guys.
Very, very useful. Also, like other places that you do play at most of the time, the enemy that you're fighting in Airsoft, it's just anybody else, free-thinking people, so they're going to be doing whatever they want to do. So you got to think, if this person's going to be fighting me on this corner, you got to think, well, what's the best advantage point where I'm going to gain to outflank my enemy and destroy the target and get through the fight and try to be more successful at Airsoft with the Milsim aspect. But overall, like, it's just, you just sometimes, like we always say, sometimes you just got to wing it. Just got to go with it.
Winging it definitely comes in handy, and that's where a lot of tactics, when you train as a team, a lot of the tactics really come in handy when you wing it, because unfortunately, winging it happens a lot.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. So if you actually train with your guys and you know how each other are going to move, how you're going to cover all your angles and stuff as you move through a city or whatever you're doing, good friends and good tactics are good to work on.
That's actually a really good point, because I mean, a lot of times I would go out to Milsim Ops and I would literally just be by myself, because I'd be the only one out of my group of friends that want to go to these things. But as I had more and more friends that would go play there a lot, like my good friend Tim Sargent, like we would go out to let's say Lion Claws 10, which we were both at. Like, Tim and I would enter a building, and instinctively we would know which areas we were covering. We wouldn't have to say anything; we just go.
Yes.
And so that's the good thing about playing with someone or playing with a group of guys over time, is that you're going to have that instinctual bond of like knowing what people's responsibilities are and what you need to take care of. Now it's a bit different, obviously, for people who go out by themselves. They have to try and figure out how that
who
works.
You can trust on the field, who's going to be there. Like, you can, on a typical game field anywhere you play, you can kind of pick out from the crowd of who you can kind of trust to be like, hey, I want you to play with me. I need you guys to come with me to pick out on the field. And then other times you need to, like, hey, I'm going to rally you guys. Like, hey, we need to, like, fight together better as a team, more cohesion with each other, so we can accomplish the mission or objective that was given during the game tasking.
And actually, speaking of that, I just thought of this, but you guys have a really good comm setup.
Yes.
Yes. Now, comms are really important for Milsim games. I would almost call them a force multiplier.
Comms are good for most part, but they're also a hindering point if you rely on them too much.
Good point.
If you don't know how to use them, they can definitely turn things ugly.
Well, I mean, I've been using a Motorola Talkabout for almost actually over a decade. And it's my headset. I've actually puked into it 3 times. Still functioning, by the
Your
way.
headset is pretty impressive.
Well played, Motorola.
But waterproof. Huh?
I don't know. Actually, I don't think it was waterproof, but it's puke-proof now. But it's been working for me for a while. I'm looking into getting a new setup. But you guys have something pretty amazing. Why don't you tell our viewers about that comm setup?
Oh man, they're Motorola's as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not. One of the other guys on our team is like the comms guy. He knows
Unacceptable.
everything about that.
Unacceptable.
Yeah,
Pretty much just your standard Motorola radios. That's all we like. They're the ones you just find at eBay. Just look around. What's
the model?
It's like XTS. XTS. They're XTS Motorola radios, like Black Gear, as everybody refers them to in the military.
You had some other like comm setup.
Oh, the Quiet Pros.
That's it.
The Quiet Pros.
Now explain to them what the Quiet Pros are.
All right, the Quiet Pros basically, you got your push to talk. Basically, you can do your volume settings and all that kind of stuff on here. But the really cool thing about them is, especially when you're shooting real steel, is when it comes in handy because obviously that's what they're built for. And little earbuds go in there, and they actually have microphones on it, so you can't. Not only you hear the guys talking on the radio to you, but it amplifies the sound around you, so you can hear a little bit better of everything going on around you. Now, if you are hit by an IED in real life, or say a Thunder Bee goes off next to you, or you're firing real weaponry, it actually lowers the decibel levels down to a safe level, so it doesn't ruin your hearing, basically.
So it's very similar to like Howard Lights or other ear protection that's electronic, where it mitigates sound that's too loud, that's going to be damaging, but it also amplifies like the native sound
like
in your areas.
Like
Yeah, exactly.
Because I run. Okay, I'm the guy on the team that runs MSA Swordens. I run dual comm, so because I'm pretty much, I'm not the squad leader or team leader. I'm just the guy on the team that takes responsibility because I know that's my job. So I run dual comms on certain missions. We can play on certain games where I have dual comms, so I'll be talking to people, running with it. And it's just the same thing. Like I have my sword ends, go through a building, if a bang goes off, decibels go down, safe sound, doesn't really hurt my ears, and then it's also good ear protection too. Covers my full ears, so if you get shot, you don't have that pain there. That's another good thing I like about them.
Yeah, but that's another part that actually how we prep up for the ops too, depending on the type of terrain that we're in. Obviously, depends on what kind of ear pro or radios you might be using. And him running on dual comms, we really like him running on dual comms because he's actually still active. So keeping him up on the whole leadership skills and everything like that is beneficial to him in real life.
But how? No, I get it.
All right. But
we can answer that question.
And also, he's been a mount instructor and everything like that. So for selected missions and things that have to do mainly with urban terrain, we like him to try to lead us as much as possible because he's very familiar with that type of terrain and he's had a lot of training in it. Myself as well, I've had a lot of experience in southern Baghdad and everything like that, running in and out of buildings. So a lot of times we're the leaders in urban environments. Other guys on our team, they have some experience, but they have a lot more experience in other environments.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're doing open terrain or whatever the heck it is, jungle, trees, desert, whatever, we might have somebody else pretty much take charge and lead the team. So leadership of the team is kind of
on the mission. Mission dictates leadership for us.
Just like how it a lot of times dictates equipment.
And that makes a lot of sense because you want to play off of your guys' strong points or strong suits. Like obviously, like you said, if you guys are better, have more experience in urban terrain, that's going to be your leader because they know what to do or they know more what to do than the rest of the team. So I think it's really smart. It's like if you know someone who has more experience at that AO or that specific mission set, then you're obviously going to put them in charge. And I actually want to talk about your dual comm setup because at Milsim events, for a lot of people that aren't familiar, I mean, if you're, let's say, a sergeant, like an NCO or a lieutenant or anything higher up the chain of command, you're going to have like your frequency for your squad and you're also going to have your link to command. Mm-hmm. So with a dual comm setup, that's probably pretty darn handy for that situation.
It's very reliable for most part, but the difficult thing is as you're using dual comms, as you're talking to anybody on the battlefield, you talk to your squad most of the time on one side, and then my other channel, I talk to the higher command. But the thing with higher command is you click on their channel, they have their squad listening on the channel, and then they all start talking. So it's pretty much a nonstop talking in one ear, and the other channel, my team channel, is quiet because we all know don't say anything unless you need to say it. Like don't bog the channel down. Keep the channel open and clear until commands need to be coming out.
Okay.
That comes back to where comms can mess you up
Yeah.
if you
Yes.
don't know how to use it properly. You know, you're not sitting on there reading a storybook to your nephew or something. You know what I mean? You get out what needs to be said, and that's it.
I think the tough thing I've always dealt with, at least at Milsim Ops with comms, is that someone will be like, they're coming from here, they're coming from there, and like they won't actually give like any specific reference. They'll just-
Adrac. They're not giving you an adrac, which you're like, oh, what's that? Like, okay, alert, description, direction, range, assessment, sign, control, all that stuff. And you're just like, I'm in a building. What building in? I don't know. Like this building. Can you be more specific about the building? Can you tell me exactly where I got to be? Sorry. We understand completely because that's the same thing at Lions Claw. As you're playing in Lions Claw, the same thing at Victorville. We're in buildings. Sometimes other teammates are like, hey, we're like, you come across your own team or other guys that you're supposed to be in alliance with, and you're like, hey, where you guys at? And they're like, I'm on the north side of the building. Like, all right, give me your direction. Like, tell me exactly what building you are. Well, I can't tell you because I don't know exactly what building I'm in. It's like, come on, all right. So then you try to figure out, hash it out, go from there. Then you just go by process elimination and figure it out from there.
That's another thing that comes into prep too, is communicating with whoever's going to be on your team. I like the fact in Lions Claw events and things, they'll actually display your roster so you know who you're going to be working with.
Yes, that is
And that comes
very
into play
handy.
a lot. So if we make a specific map with our building numbers on it, somebody might make another map with different building numbers. So even if they're used to using their numbers and their call signs or whatever the heck, we can at least give them a copy of our map so they can reference that really quickly to talk to us, and we can get a copy of theirs if possible. So whenever we can, we'll print up extras and get them out there.
Some sort of uniform mode of communication.
It is
Absolutely.
because the maps that we use, like other times, like for Milsim operations, like we see people they print out the maps, we use their maps, we look at them, and like sometimes it's just too much stuff going on with the map. You should just set, like for Milsim, like honestly, like just simplify the process, color the buildings, color the roads, and then number the buildings in sectors. Like so, like I'm in building red G21, so it's like building red sector G21. I gotcha.
That actually brings me on to another point, is that some of the Milsim games I gone to, a few Line Claws operations, I didn't go out there with a map, which was, what's that word I'm looking for? Stupid! That was very stupid! So ever since those events, I've gone out to every field or operation with a map of the AO I'm playing in, and it's really handy, like if you're giving building descriptions, like you were saying. And one thing that Daniel and I have both found out over the past year or so is that having a map pack on your person, either your wrist, your body armor, or chest rig, is crucial. Yeah, it's very handy to have, and definitely makes your day of airsoft play a lot better. And actually, I think one of the most recent ones we saw you guys, was it a wrist pouch or
wrist pouch?
Yeah, wrist pouch. That's handy because we were telling you where to go, and you're like, oh, you mean like right here? We're like, oh yeah, that's great, right there.
Yeah.
So really handy to have, and highly suggested if you want to have a very good day of gameplay.
It is.
Yeah, the cool thing about those too, depending on what kind of mission you're in, is most of them, depending on the design you get, because there's so many of them in there. Yeah, you can have an overlay, so you can start writing marker in there. And
that's a good point. Yeah.
Off, you know, write people's names in. You can put people's photos of their faces in there if you don't know who the VIPs are. You know,
that's smart.
Like that.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a
HVTs like John Liu.
Bingo. Or Igor Dobrov. Funny guy. Let's see, other things related to Milsim operations. Actually, I did bring in something that I have used at several Milsim operations. Now, you guys use helmets with iPro.
Yes.
Yes. Because you're not sissies like me, you're not going to worry about getting shot in the face, whereas I'm an actor, I got to keep the moneymaker all right. Now, I usually use face masks nowadays. I actually used to go out with an imitation Kevlar helmet and a shemagh, but I have been shot in the face and the teeth before, and I don't like it very much. But that said, I actually use these at games pretty regularly, but obviously it's up to your own personal experience what you'd like to use. A lot of folks use like the fast style helmets nowadays with some face protection, but it's really important, again, to read that warrant order and see what sort of eye and face protection is required, because the last thing you want to do is show up to an event and essentially be told you can't play because you don't have the proper equipment. So again, I think that's one of the most important things, is making sure you have everything that is absolutely necessary to play, starting with your eye protection.
Yeah, a lot of people actually ask us about that. You know, why don't you wear some sort of face protection or
I didn't turn off anything important.
All right, no.
or anything like that. And yes, we acknowledge the fact that airsoft and real steel it's extremely different, and only some things can cross over. But that's one of the things for us. We like to try to maintain proper cheek well and stance and stuff like that whenever we possibly can, even though we don't have recoil. Just little things here and there, make it a little bit more realistic for us.
Oh, absolutely, and I mean that makes a lot of sense. That's one of the downsides, which I'm going to bring this back on again. That's one of the downsides with using face masks like this. And by the way, this is an Annex MI7, comes pre-installed with thermal lens, and ATEX camo, which I really like. The downsides with these is that you really can't get that cheek weld. You cannot get that cheek weld. You can't get behind like
the proper sides. You can't get the side alignment to shoot down your target.
Well, you can't get completely behind it, but I have found with like adding on, let's say, like a riser and then a scope that already has a riser on that, so you double riser it, and then you can get behind that guy. But it does look, again, stupid. So, yeah, you got to basically decide what you want. Do you want that cheek weld? Do you want the realistic feel with the gun? Or do you want maximum protection? So it's basically whatever works.
Shooter preference and also rules and regulations of the fields that you attend. Simple as the way to go with it.
And if you don't wear face pro, dental plans help.
Yeah, man.
We actually
boy does it help.
Had a team member, Sean Vinay, got one of his
tooth knocked out.
Really?
Knocked out. Straight clean.
Oh,
yeah.
Buzzkill.
But it was a fake tooth already, so like
so
it got knocked out. And he's like, it's already been knocked out once, guys. We're like, oh, so you're good? He's like, yeah, I'm totally legit. Let's keep playing.
Yeah. His wife was more angry than he was.
Yeah. Oh, I'll bet. I mean, it's not exactly cheap. I mean,
no, by no means.
No. Oh man, well that is funny. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Okay, well let's see. What other stuff about Milsim can we cover?
Here we go. All right, so Milsim overall aspect for us as a whole, as we train, you can do some real steel shooting before anything else. So like, say if you want to try to do real steel shooting like in an urban environment, like practice, you should try out airsoft tools like the guns and stuff. So as you're entering rooms, stuff like that, you can practice the techniques and practice procedures that you're going to be using.
Muzzle
awareness. So you have that idea of what you're going to be going through, and then you can apply it to if you want to do real steel shooting, don't do it without supervision, everything like that. You need that there at all times. Safety structure is key to anything with real steel. That's hands down.
Absolutely.
And a lot of other military guys might have heard, slow as smooth as fast. So you always walk, or crawl before you walk before you run. We like to use the same thing. If we're doing some dynamic entries and stuff like that, we're using airsoft guns first. Because when you're shooting, your muzzle is 6 inches away from your buddy's face and you're engaging a target. You want to do it a couple times with airsoft first. And then we'll do it with real steel. And then we'll do it really slow. And we'll do it a little faster, and then a little bit faster.
Just incrementally up there,
We'll go back to airsoft for a little while, and then we'll go back to real steel. So it helps, and definitely saves you a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, I imagine, especially on ammo. And
medical.
And yeah, also like the manipulation is very similar, especially if you're using an LM4, which I know some of the folks on your team do.
And then the PTS.
RM4.
Oh yeah, the RM4 ERG. Actually, I can't remember which one you was working that last time. Sean, that was it. Yeah. That is a fun gun because it has a lot of recoil.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's great.
No, it was good times. But back to with the vehicles things too. Our team has a friend of ours, which is really named Tony Gaganelli. He has an APC, and he allows us to train with that too before we go to Lions Claw. So we have like how to do dismount procedures. Like if you get contact from what side of the building, where do you dismount from? The gunner is supposed to tell you with his foot inside the turret, so he points with his foot where he's getting contact from. So in the back.
Interesting.
So we're looking at his foot.
You
can't hear.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't even think.
So we're looking at his foot to tell us kind of where his contact, or he puts his hand down with like something to show us hey, getting contact on the right, contact on the left, contact front. Let us know. And then your spotter on top also lets you know, the guy that's supposed to be with the vehicle on the backside watching everything. He'll let you know hey, you guys are going to get contact on the right side. So that's going on. Open the left hatch, pull out the back, use the APC as coverage, and then fan out, bolt to the buildings, and then suppress the area.
Depends on terrain again.
Yeah.
And that's actually, I'm glad you brought up the APC because that's another thing that people who don't go to Milsim events are really missing out on is that, people that play, I'm going to say it, Call of Duty, or my favorite, one of my favorites, Battlefield 4, 3, 2, whatever. You see that stuff in video games, and if you get to do that at an airsoft event, it's really exhilarating. Your heart gets pumping. I always describe it as you feel like you're in your own personal action movie.
It is.
Yeah. So
people really love it too. We'll in between little breaks and things like that, we'll get a lot of the guys from the enemy team. They're like, "Can we just have a ride?" Yeah, hop in.
One of the coolest times, or one of the funniest times in Airsoft ever, like for us as a team, we were doing a dynamic entry. So like pretty much we took the ABC and drove it up to a building, and two of our teammates were on top of the ABC, jumped on top of the ledge, and the rest of us filtered through, and then we came up and we're throwing grenades in the room, blow him up like he was on the backside of the building, and shot through a spider hole, killed the dude that was trying to shoot us. And we go through, and as I was coming up the stairs, we shot another dude, and we come through, and then the guys were like, that is by far the craziest, sickest thing I've ever seen in Airsoft. He's they're like, we would not expect that from anything. We're like,
they never expect you to come
they
in
just
the
don't
second
expect
floor
you
first.
to ever do
Well,
that
you're
kind of stuff.
welcome.
Yeah.
And then the kid's like, can we get a ride after? Like, yeah, dude, go ahead. Like,
Come
go
on
ahead. I was
in.
like, we'll walk back. We're fine. Go at it.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm sure they must have been peeing in their boots at that one. Just
Then
like,
we got told we shouldn't be doing that kind of stuff because it's kind of it's dangerous, but we say, yeah, we agree with you, it's dangerous, but like on the other side of the house too, like we kind of know what we're doing. We've been through it. We know how to train with it. We understand the capabilities and the weaknesses of doing those kind of events, like what you're doing with your assault vehicle. You're like, okay, you can push so far up, you can't go in, stuff like that. So
yeah, I think a lot of that really has to do with like the insurance that a lot of these folks get event-wise. Like, I'm sure they believe like, okay, you may have experience, but they also have to cover their own butts as far as like, liability. So that is tough. If you guys see something in a warrant order or instructions for an operation of things you can and cannot do, 9 times out of 10, that's because it's insurance related. They need to cover their own butts and make sure everything and everyone is as safe as possible.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
Unacceptable.
a lot of times, you get those rules and everything and those regulations and things, and yeah, they're covering their own butt in this insurance policies. A lot of guys get really bummed out about that, and they're like, "Oh, why is this? They're limiting us back to too much and this and that."
bending the rules too.
You guys got to look at it from
the host.
From a better point of view. It's making it harder on you, so therefore you have to be better. You have to fight harder.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that play Battlefield or whatever, all these video games, and they put in the cheat codes. Well, play without cheat codes for once. You know what I mean? Play for real.
Yeah,
See what you're capable of.
I think the one thing that got me at one of the Milsim ones I went to, they're like, no melee weapons allowed. And I'm Bob the Axeman. I was like, really? I can't? Because like I like sneak up on people.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing?
Well, that's the thing is I don't bring out the axe to Milsim events out of respect for my fellow players and also like the celebrities are going to be there, like Lieutenant Colonel. It's Colonel McKnight, as well as Igor Dobrov or Master Sergeant Mullen. Like I do it out of respect for them and my fellow players who go to a Milsim event to get that military simulation feeling, and they don't want to see like a foam axe just go boop boop boop. So yeah. But I do like it is really fun to like wander up on a machine gun position, pull out your rubber bayonet, and just get some silent kills.
Oh yeah.
So I mean that's awesome.
Like at Assault in Antioch, when we were in the building, when the guy threw that sword or whatever it went in through.
Oh yeah.
I thought it killed me, but like, as I was looking through my camera, or when I got done with it, I called myself out. But it hit this little red like construction table in front of me and bounced up and over. And Bob was like, "Dude, you just get hit." I was like, "I think so. I'm out, girl. I'm out." But I wasn't even expecting that. But that's the thing I was talking about. I was like, those when like people have weapons, you're just like, shoot him. You're like, but I'm not know what he's doing because he's throwing something at my face.
Yeah.
Like,
That was actually a really crazy situation. I'm going to go a little bit over time here because it was really fun because I was in the corner. I ran out of ammo. I think I just had my axe. And I was telling you guys that they were coming, and then I hear a flap, and I thought I saw, I believe it was a machete, a foam machete,
I think so.
And it landed like in your chest, and I was like, oh man, that was crazy. And then they hit the building with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
And they ignored one guy.
The archer.
Bingo! Yeah, the guy
archer.
with the Hunger Games setup who had converted a paintball archery setup into airsoft, and he just murdered like 8 of them. Like just, it was awesome.
Yeah, and they're like, they all look back when they were like dead. They kind of look at it like, who shot us? And he's like,
I did. That was hilarious. So I was really proud of that.
That was a good kill.
Yeah, that was definitely a good kill. All right, well, I believe that's actually going to end our topic discussion portion for today with Disposable Heroes. But we have some new products to show you. So without further ado, would you mind grabbing a bunch of those pouches for me? Yes. Highly acceptable. All right. So High Speed Gear has come out with, I believe these are HSGI extended pistol taco mag pouches. So as you might guess, these are going to work really well for, let's say, a submachine gun, like the Chris, like the MP9, like the MP7, or if you're just using an MP5, these extended pistol mag pouches are going to work really well. Or as the name implies, if you have an extended pistol mag, like let's say for shoot, I don't know what's a good extended pistol mag, like an M93R series gun that has a larger than normal pistol mag. So these are going to work really well. I'm honestly thinking about getting some of these for my my KMP9 gas blowback submachine gun. This worked really well for them. I'm always tempted to get the tan ones, but the multicam ones look pretty dope. So tempted. Yeah. So these, I believe, are currently or about to be available on our website. So if you guys are in the market for something to hold some machine gun or extended pistol mags, make sure to check these out. These are pretty awesome. I personally own a couple double-decker taco pouches. Do you guys use any of those at all?
Not double-decker, but I do have 2 taco mags on my rig. I started to really like them because I actually fire an M1A as well.
Oh, yeah.
Which uses the 308 magazine. So I really liked it that I can have it already set up and I can have my 308s in there or my M4. So.
And those rifle magazine pouches, those HSGI ones, high-speed gear, they actually work for, obviously, a variety of different things. So, like, you can put a Gatorade bottle in there, or what I do sometimes, I put Big League Chew in the pistol magazine pouch, or a Leatherman, or any other variety of things you can use. Also, we have, let's see, can you grab that gun for me? We have the Ares Amoeba M4 Carbine 13-inch modular rail AEG. Now, you may recognize this gun from some video games out, or it's actually, I should mention, it's based on a real firearm. I've actually been personally eagerly awaiting this coming out. It's surprisingly not that heavy. A lot of it is made out of polymer, but one of the things I like about these Ares Amoeba guns is the fact they have this enlarged and very comfortable magazine release. They also have a textured pistol grip and this very unique style stock. It's essentially a 2-position stock. Now, have you guys ever seen a firearm similar to this?
Like a H&K?
You know, we'll
like
just
in real life, or just like what we dealt with?
Real life.
It reminds me of the Para Ordnance TTR.
Oh, yes. Now, actually, I want you guys to get your hands on that, because have you ever fired an Ares gun before?
No, actually, I don't think I have.
Yeah, a lot of the newer ones, the Amoeba line, are actually really lightweight, but it's pretty solid polymer, so it's a pretty solid gun in general. But hopefully we can take that out and get some gameplay action with that. All right, I think. Oh, actually, would you mind grabbing me that other gun back there? So as I previously mentioned, we are starting some new Facebook giveaways. So again, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, make sure to check that out so you don't miss out on those giveaways. And our first giveaway is going to be with this G&G GR4 G26, I believe, electric blowback gun. So if you guys want to have a chance of winning a free airsoft gun, make sure to get on that Facebook page and get in on that giveaway. Yeah, I was gonna say it's got a lot of features that come standard.
See that.
Yeah, no kidding. It's weird because this G26, it's very comfortable as far as like the magazine and the cheek weld is concerned. Because I don't know if you want to feel that, but
it's like a riser almost.
Yeah, it's a little differently designed gun, but they did make a custom mag for it, so it's easier to grip, very comfortable, and putting your cheek on the stock is likewise very comfortable.
Very light too.
Yeah, very light. So once again, make sure to take advantage of the Facebook giveaways. And since we're getting to the end of our show, we've got about 7 minutes remaining. We're going to do questions and answers and shout-outs. Questions, answers, and shout-outs. So first shout-out is going to go to Team Hot Pasta Airsoft. Your shout-out is approved. And the next shout-out is going to go to Death's Militia Airsoft Team. Your shout-out is likewise approved. Let's see. Death's Militia Airsoft Team. Shout out Nicholas Figueroa. Your shout out is approved. Let's see. See if there's any other shout outs. Death the Real Captain, or no, I don't really get that. Hey Team Disposable Heroes. Do you guys have any U.S. airmen on your team?
No.
Not anymore.
No. Not trying to say we hate all the branches or anything. We don't. Every branch has their own specialties in their way, shape, or form. We just don't have them on our team. No one really approaches us that's from the Air Force to be on our side.
Yeah. We had one guy that trained with the Air Force for a little while, but he wasn't a great fit for the team, and he ended up leaving.
Well, that happens a lot. I mean, obviously, you guys are all generally friends, so it's,
Oh, yeah.
it's a lot easier to play with folks that are friends or at least consistently hanging out. Let's see. What other... shout-outs. Cooper Dyer, your shout-out is approved. And Team 81, your shout-out is likewise approved. Let's see. What do we got here?
What is that? What is that underwear is your best?
What I was going to tell you. What underwear is best for being tactical? I have an idea in my head of what you're going to say. Go ahead.
I say Under Armour underwears are the best bet. Why? Because they're breathable. They're they fit nicely on your body. Plus, they're wicking material. They're very comfortable. Trust, I've worn them in country.
Mm-hmm.
They've lasted a long time. They're very nice.
Yeah, I actually have Under Armour underwear that have been through 2 years in Iraq, and I've had them since high school.
That sounds like you're going to smell a little bit.
Sounds a little weird, man, but
they're lucky
they're great. They might feel a little weird at first when you first start wearing them, but yeah, they're supportive, keep everything in place, and when you're sweating.
Yeah, Craig from Game Pause here. Hi, Craig.
Hey, Craig.
What's up, buddy? Best field on the West Coast.
Thank you for having us up there at Game 5. We really appreciate it. We like your field. And now we know what you told us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I was going to say it, but I guess I'll keep that on the DL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the DL.
We may use that for the next event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, it's funny because, like, the answer I was expecting one of you two to give, neither of you said it. What is the most tactical underwear? No underwear.
No.
Going commando. No, I don't think that's actually true.
No, because if you go commando in real life or you're on gameplay, you get sweaty down there, and chafing is really bad. But you can get a thing called Sports Glide, I think, from Sports Related, like that, and it's like a little glide stick that you put down there to keep from being chafed.
That's interesting.
We use those like if I'm on a long mission or going doing training evolution and stuff like that, and I know we're not coming back for like a week or two, or like out in the field in 20 pounds training stuff like that. I put that stuff on in the field before I do like a field evolution. So it kind of has me it's almost like Vaseline on a bar. Yeah. And it protects you so that you're running around, you're like, all right, well, I'm out for 40 hours, no shower, no nothing, and I'm not getting chafed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have experienced blowing out your crotch.
Oh, yes.
That's not very,
Taking
very
a knee,
fun if you're not
crotch
wearing
working out,
anything underneath your
not
pants.
cool.
Then you got your dangling in the dirt.
I've had a couple rough experiences with that. Like, you ever been shot in the Liberty Bell? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's a pain that keeps on giving.
Oh, man.
Yeah. That said, GamePod did request a shout-out for Team Disposable Heroes. Team Disposable Heroes, your shout-out has been approved.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so we have 3 minutes left in the show. I'm going to answer a few more questions. Elite Force 4 CRL? Question mark. Good purchase? Yes. Moving on. Okay, let's see. Question or shout out. Sean Fitzpatrick, can I get a shout out for the Last One's Airsoft? The Last One's Airsoft shout out has been approved. All right. Reptile Talk. I highly approve of your name, and your shout out has been approved. Shout out to hashtag Paddle Battle Marco Airsoft Team. Pretty unique. All right.
His names.
Is it approved?
It is approved. Shout out to Desert Spartan. Your shout out has been approved. And David Bergeron, you are very welcome for your shout out. I appreciate you getting on me on that. I've been trying to check my inbox regularly to look for shout outs, but I'm not always able to do that. So I'm glad I finally got to take care of you. Someone did ask for the closest Master Chief mask. Here at Airsoft GI, this is what I would say is the closest you can get and still be very effective, because there are other Master Chief masks on the market, but I've consistently found they don't perform as well in Airsoft either. They fog up, they're not very comfortable, they're hard to see out of, whereas this Annex MI7 gives you a similar appearance to Master Chief, if I do say so myself. And also you have the thermal lens that's going to prevent a lot of the fogging issues. It comes with a visor, which is optional, but if you don't put that on there, it looks less like Master Chief. So, all right. Ooh, there's a good question. Do you guys have any Sistema PTWs on your team?
We do.
We do, right?
Okay.
One on our team.
Yeah, that's true.
ERG Scout or Sistema PTW?
Sistema PTW.
Yep.
Yes.
Why is that?
Actually, he got it just to see how it would compare or operate towards other guns that we use, like all the products we use with guns, because we all use the similar guns. So if something goes down, his is only different. Overall, he likes the performance of it. He says it works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. He's just his gun he prefers.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. It's ergonomics too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think it's pretty responsive.
We change things out on it pretty easily.
Well, I mean, it's also like you guys said before, shooter preference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last question of our last show. I almost said
Gee.
of the game. What?
Oh, it's Gee.
Gee from Crow. Shout out.
Oh, Nathan.
Zen cookies or Zini cookies.
Zinky Cookies.
Yeah.
Your shout out is approved. And who's Gee?
He's from Crow Song. He's like kind of like a sister team of ours.
Oh, cool.
So like kind of like well, shout outs and everything. He's kind of like the team. The Crow's kind of like the team we kind of like play with
Oh, cool.
for like bigger Milsim events. Like we can try to rely on them as much as possible.
Like run next to each other and all that. That's dope. That's awesome. Well, thank you for showing up. Appreciate that. I'm sure they do too. Is your name spelled with an A?
It is. It's ARIC.
Change that. That's awful.
No.
Okay.
That's the right way to do it.
No, that's why I saw.
America starts with an A.
Oh,
Oh God, you got me. So good. Yeah, no, I saw it typed. I was like, huh, is that misspelling or not? I feel like that's like an old Viking name or something.
It's been related to that, yeah.
Oh, really? All right. Well, highly acceptable. Last question for the day. Do you guys have a favorite video game?
oh man.
I just started playing them. Battlefield's pretty fun.
Battlefield 4?
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty fun.
I, on the other hand, do not play video games whatsoever. I just don't. Not anymore.
Not even an arcade?
No, I haven't played video games in a long time.
No Joust, no Tempest.
The only reason why I play is my lady bought me an Xbox.
That sounds like a keeper.
Yeah, she is.
Well played, sir. All right, well, mine for now is going to be StarCraft 2. I've been playing StarCraft for a long darn time. I also like Battlefield 4, if they fix the netcode. All right, well, that is going to be... Can you just say hi to me? Let's go Yankees 6677. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going? All right, well, that's going to be it for our live show today on September 9th, 2014. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us. And once again, you're going to watch me try and turn this off.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, actually, you know, once again, I want to remind you guys, if you guys get a chance, head on over to Disposable Heroes Facebook page. You just type in Disposable Heroes into the search bar, and more or less you're going to see a logo just like this. It's going to pop up. Give them a like and check it out every now and again. They do post a lot of cool stuff, and you'll see them at events around the country. All right, once again, I'm Bob the Axeman Hildebrand. This is Eric, and this is Nate from Team Disposable Heroes. God bless America.
America.
America. America.
Two sparrows, barrel.
Ah.